How often have you found yourself, or someone you know, proudly stating, "I worked 60 hours this week"? It's almost like a secret handshake in the professional world, right? But let's pause and think, is that something to boast about? My name is Ezekiel, and in today's video I'm going to tell you about the common belief that working extra hours is a symbol of success. There might be more to the story. Stick around as we explore the realities of the 60 hours work week and why it might not be the shiny badge of honor it's made out to be. Let's get started. Let's start with the question in your mind why working extra long hours might not be as great as it seems. It turns out there are some not so great things that can happen when you consistently work too much. Firstly, there is this thing that is called burnout. And it's not just feeling tired, it's like running a car without stopping for gas. Eventually, it breaks down. Studies like the one from the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology says that working a lot is linked to feeling burnout. Now, think of your brain like a smartphone. If you never plug it in, it runs out of battery, right? That's what happens when we don't take a break at work. In organizations where overtime is within standard limits, only 23% reported and absentee rates exceeding 9%. However, in companies with elevated levels of overtime, 54% reported absentee rates over 9%. This highlights the potential impact of excessive overtime on employees' attendance. If we have been the person who always works a lot and suddenly say we are stressed or want a new job, it can be confusing for our team. It's a bit like changing the script of a play without telling anyone. People might not understand what's happening. Maintaining a balance between work and personal life is crucial, as studies show that working over 10 hours a day is linked to a 60% increase in the risk of cardiovascular issues. Now that we have explored the not-so-pleasant side of overworking, it's time for a reality check. Many of us may have fallen into the trap of thinking that long hours mean we are super productive because, hey, there are fewer distractions, right? Well, let's hit the pause button on that belief. It's a common misconception, the idea that enjoying long hours because it seems quieter or less distracting is a sign of being extra productive. But here's a plot twist. It might not be as true as we think. Studies suggest that working too much can lead to diminishing results. It's like trying to read a book in a noisy room. It takes longer to absorb the information and the quality of our work may suffer. 10% of individuals working 50 to 60 hours reported experiencing relationship problems, and this rate increases to 30% for those working over 60 hours. Exceeding 60 hours of work per week is also linked to an increase in alcohol and tobacco consumption, along with unhealthy weight gain in men. Alright, we figured out that working too much isn't the superhero move we thought. Let's talk about how we can turn things around in simple terms. No jargon, just real-life fixes. First off, let's make our work visible. Think of it like being on a cooking show. The audience needs to see what's happening in the kitchen. The same goes for work. If we are cooking up something great, let's make sure others see it. It's not about showing off, it's about getting the credit we deserve, but also you open the door for other possibilities. Let me share something. After a decade of experience in leading teams, I have never encountered a stakeholder that wanted me or my team to work extra hours, and they work with me to adjust expectations so that we work extra hours only under unusual circumstances. Now, the magic word is no. Saying no is like choosing what toppings you want on your pizza. You don't have to take everything that comes your way. Set some boundaries, like choosing your favorite pizza toppings. It's not a bad word, it's choosing what you want on your plate. Saying no is setting boundaries and making sure you enjoy your work without feeling overwhelmed. Change isn't like flipping a switch, it's more like planting a seed. You water them, give them some light, and slowly you see the garden growing. It's the same with change. It takes time. Don't expect to see results overnight. Gradual change is our secret sauce for lasting improvements. Remember, these steps are about making work better, not harder. We're turning the dial from overwhelming to manageable. Now we are on the path to change. Let's talk about preventing a relapse, keeping those good habits intact. First up, let's focus on the important but not urgent tasks. Imagine doing your homework before the due date. These tasks may not scream for attention, but they are crucial for the long-term success. If we consistently focus on what's important but not urgent, it's like building a strong foundation. Let me share a personal story and how I learned this lesson the hard way. I was a leader on an important team. I was working long days and even dedicating my free time on the weekends to write scripts that will help the team work faster. I was convinced that because I enjoy my work and coding so much, this will not be a problem. But on a Friday afternoon, looking through the production logs, I discovered a high-security threat that didn't have an easy fix. So I informed my boss, and she alerted other departments, and we all spent the next 72 hours fixing the problem with the help of different teams in the organization. During that time, I was the one coordinating the effort and carried a huge responsibility. We ended up fixing the issue, but that stress left me with some health consequences. Now I grind my teeth while I sleep. I believe that if I will have worked 40 hours a week consistently, my body and brain will have been rested and able to handle a one-off weekend of craziness at work. Lesson learned. Alright, we have covered a lot today. Did you watch my video about passwords? I think you will like it. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, I will see you next week.